Alright, so here is my TM MWS video. It's been a while. I really wanted to run this gun and, play with it before I gave any kind of opinion on it. And in terms of gas blowbacks, I think I can definitively say now this is probably the best gas blowback gun you can get. I mean, in terms of efficiency, it's truly, leaps and bounds above everything else on the market. And just the reliability and the accuracy. I mean, if you've, played with gas blowbacks for a while, you kind of know that a lot of them sometimes can be inaccurate. The TM MWS right out of the box is just fabulous in terms of accuracy. So I gotta go over a couple parts and then we'll basically sit down and shoot it for a little bit. And then I'll just give some final thoughts on, everything that I kind of experienced while I went through it. Oh, and you're going to have to forgive my desk. It's kind of a mess with a bunch of other stuff. I've been working on this guy and I lost the internal axle, so definitely is a little annoying, but I'll figure it out. Alright, so this is the lower part of the MWS. I've switched out pretty much everything inside of it, and I've tried a couple different parts, and I think I've pretty much got the best combo of stuff now. So just for external purposes, I went with the bad lever just because it gives you that ambi bolt release. And I will say, if you're going to do this, you will need to get a lightweight set plate because the stock ones can kind of fail to lock back sometimes with the heavier one. So for internals, it's basically the Gunsmodify Complete Steel, I think it's like GEI or something set. The main benefit that I like of this set over the traditional MWS one is just the trigger is so much nicer, not just like externally, but in terms of how it actually performs. Like both the trigger and the sear and everything else have little set screws in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. But yeah, basically the sear right here can be adjusted. The hammer has 2 stages, so you can adjust the spring strength in it for 50% or 100%. Basically that helps you with different weather temperatures, how you want your gas to perform. Alright, so now this is the upper. Pretty much the bolt that I went with was the T8 super lightweight bolt. I mean, you gotta like feel it to understand how light this is. Like, it's lighter than any of the other bolts I tried, which was the Gunsmodify, the Angrygun. I have a HAO one on the way, but I don't think it's going to be any lighter than this. At the end of it, I also went with the G&P roller bolt, and I think it's kind of a gimmick, but it definitely is very smooth when you rack the bolt. And the reason I do like this is because it has the steel reinforcement point right here, so when it hits on the Gunsmodify steel parts that I have on the bottom, it's not, fucking up the bottom part of the bolt. And yeah, it cycles very well. It's, T8 bolt working with a non-T8 box, so I don't know if all of them will, but I can confirm that the super lightweight bolt one does work. And for the nozzle, I went with the, I think it's like KY or KF nozzle. It comes with a adjustable rocket valve inside, so you can, set the FPS to whatever you want. Also, the plastic feels like much sturdier than the traditional TM one. It feels very firm. Like, I don't think it's going to break at all, and even the springs are stronger. And the main thing that everybody's worried about, I haven't noticed this tearing the gas router on the magazines at all, so it seems to be a pretty good nozzle, and I've put quite a few rounds through it with this, so really got to recommend that one. Then just for the Hop Up itself, I went with the Laylax Hop Up. I'm sure you probably can't see, so I'm going to put it back down, but I did the Laylax Hop Up with the Decepticon's, I think it was the 70-degree silicone bucking. And normally I don't like any of the silicone buckings. I think that they're kind of trash, especially in AEGs. I've never got a single one to work. But the Maple Leaf Silicone Decepticon bucking and this, the gas blowback one, is working phenomenally. And also the Laylax chamber, since it provides a TDC type arm and system, it makes it very consistent hopping BBs. And I've taken it up to 0.4s and it hops them perfectly and very straight too. In terms of MWS Hop Up upgrades, I will say I tried a lot of rubbers. Like PDIW hold, I think, was probably the next best one. Like that thing seals like unbelievably. It's like 1 FPS. It's crazy how consistent it is. Additionally, I also tried I think it was the Flamingo bucking, the modified buckings, the 9-ball bucking. and the traditional maple leaf buckings, and they were kind of meh, you know, like in terms of all of them. I think the Decepticon one had the, you know, traditional Decepticon bucking had the best consistency, but the silicone one that I got definitely beats it. The flamingo bucking that everybody goes on about, it was all right, but I just feel like, you know, it's kind of just a small flat hop patch underneath it, and the material did seem to wear a lot when, you know, I was shooting full auto with it. So I don't know, people talk about it and say that it's really good, but I didn't like it too much. Either way, I mean, the MWS system, just the way that the Hop Up is set up, as long as you have a sufficiently good bucking, like, it's going to be very accurate. So really recommend the Decepticon silicone buckings for this, as well as the PDIW hold. And traditional maple leaf buckings work well, and honestly, you could just upgrade the arm to the Laylax one, or, you know, even a solid nub, and the traditional TM bucking will work very well too. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much everything I did on the upper. Oh, it's also a crazyjet barrel in there, just because I figured maple leaf with maple leaf. I don't know if it actually, you know, does its whole air cushion BS, but whatever. So that's my thoughts on the upper. Yeah, pretty great. All right, and now for the fun part, the shooting test. So here, go ahead and rack it. It's like so light with the lightweight bolt, like really got to hand it to them on that. It's like butter. All right, so let's go ahead and shoot. Yeah, like the trigger is so nice on it. It's just instant. Let's go ahead and try and shoot it fast. Yeah, so pretty much it performs like a high kappa tune trigger when you have the Gunsmodify. Alright, I think I got one more mag in here, so let's go ahead and shoot it. Bad lever.